No, Justin did most of that separate. He did publish it twice. At least once. But he did. I'm not sure where he's I looked at it way back when, but I don't.
Yes. Take our mics. You want to take it? You want to take one side of it?
Yeah. Actual items. So I gave
If you don't mind, split our ways. As we all say, yeah. So, texted right back and so that was really nice. I got my cell phone, I got mine.
Turn off your cell phone.
Yeah.
Please silence your cell phones. Welcome, everyone, to the November community meeting at Goodwin House, Bailey's Crossroads. I'd like to start with just running through what the agenda is this morning. We will, as is our custom, remember those who have passed over the last month. We'll then welcome new residents. We have a couple things that from Justin to cover this morning. We'll have a report from Jean Reed on elections, and then we're going to hear about the Bazaar, which we haven't seen for a while now. Let's take a few moments in silence and reflect those who have passed. Audrey Lipsy, Sherwood Lewis, Enrique Spiegler, George Towner, whoops. What happened to page down? Sorry about this. Oof. Okay. Oh, what am I hitting? Oh, I should be doing page. I was better when we had Zooms. Sorry.
That's fine.
It's here. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Dorothea Klingenpeel, Julie McAvoy, Kathleen Krogan, Annabelle Perlick, Althea Lorraine McClure, and Beverly Bev Palmer. Our time together was too short. Now I'd like to welcome two new residents, Elaine Serling, who arrived on October 19th, and she's in the Crossroads in apartment 1214, and Jean Springman, I know she's here. Hi, welcome, Jean.
You want to say?
Apartment, nobody, Lou, no. Jean, I said they wouldn't be asked to speak.
Okay.
So, Jean arrived on October 25th and is also in the Crossroads. Now I'd like to welcome Justin for the Executive Director report. We always look forward to hearing from you, Justin. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Good morning, everyone.
I have a few updates to provide everyone. First, I'd like to thank all of you for your patience as the dining department had to pivot a few weeks ago because they had 9 cooks out that had to quarantine because of an exposure in that department. So thank you. On November the 15th, which is next Monday, we will be working on the Point patio. We're going to be replacing the drain system in that space. Every time we have a torrential downpour, that drain gets overwhelmed, and it causes a lot of damage to the inside of the Point building. That project is going to be very noisy. They're going to be jackhammering a lot of the concrete out. So plan accordingly for those that live in the Point. I know Life Enrichment, Tiffany and Elizabeth will be working on some additional programming for that day to keep you out of the apartment. So if you have family close by, that might be the day you go visit. Take a few tours into DC. Just warning everyone now, it will be loud, probably 6 hours worth of jackhammering. It will be disruptive throughout the community, but mostly at the Point. In addition to that, they will be installing the curbside cutouts by the clinic that were added based on recommendations from our residents. So they'll be doing that the same day. The Crossroads Point Garage and the Point Garage is slated for painting parking spaces on the 22nd and the 23rd. So the 22nd will be the Crossroads building, and then the 23rd will be the Point. We will have more communication coming out sooner than later. There's a lot of logistics there. So I know staff will be probably parking at the Giant that day, and that will be open for residents as well. But everyone will need to move their cars to the top. Last Wednesday and Thursday, we had our annual state survey through the Virginia Department of Health for our healthcare center, and we did exceptionally well. So we'll have more of an official report coming out once we get the official report back from the state. When the state surveyors come out, generally, rule of thumb, our state fire marshal will be out 2 weeks afterwards. So we will be looking out for him over the next 2 weeks. Booster clinics. We will have the next booster clinic Tuesday, November the 16th from 9:30 to 3. And then we will have a few more in December. I don't have exact dates for that quite yet. And then next week, we're bumping up town hall a week early because of Thanksgiving. So we're planning on town hall next Thursday, November the 18th at 2:00. And I'll provide updates on the resident council survey that was conducted in January. And we'll have the program director for elevators for Fairfax County out to talk about all things elevators. And we'll have other updates as well. So with that, any questions? Nope. Okay. Very good. Thank you.
Thanks, Justin. And next, I'd like to introduce Jean Reed, who is the chair of the election committee this year. And we appreciate you taking on this responsibility, Jean.
The slide deck is somewhat abbreviated, and we're going to talk to those
Microphone.
Yeah, thank you very much. Feels great. You know, I sing at church, at Grace Church, and we have a white singer's mask, and it feels like it's made out of #1 canvas. And so when you take that off halfway through and try to get some air in, it does make a difference. Let's see if we can get this right. We're beginning to get down to the shank end of the nomination period for council. And so this week, up through Monday of next week, will be the last call for nominations. We have 2 nominees at this point. And that's not for want of trying by a lot of people, both on the council and also who serve on the election committee. And so we're going to go into a little bit of a tutorial, I suppose, that most of you don't need to hear, but maybe it'll jog those who have not served that it's time to really pick up the baton and to serve on council. Just by a question, how many in here have served on the council? Okay, thank you. Just as, now I'll go through the same thing. This is a very sensitive pad. We've got it. Okay.
And then we still,
Yeah.
from current slide.
Yeah.
At the top.
Here.
So I have to be-
Fix it.
I know, right? It's tough when you can't, like, can you move just a little bit?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Okay,
There we go.
there you go.
Stay close, Tiffany.
Right here.
Now, remember when we began this journey, the nomination period was to be October 12th through November 15th. And the council election results will be announced on the 13th of December. We will go into about a 30-day, roughly, period for, quote, the campaigns by the nominees that will be largely worked through these 4 here. A reminder, 14 members, 13 at large, 1 from assisted living, 2-year terms, and this year we will elect 7 members at large. Election is open to all residents. You may nominate a consenting candidate, or you may nominate yourself. All you need is a sponsor. I will be happy to sponsor anybody who wishes to run for council. And I'm sure the chair of the resident council would be, if failing a sponsor stepping forward, will be happy to sponsor. And perhaps a number of those who are scheduled to go off the council, and 2 of them have said that they will run again, but a number of those scheduled to go off the council will be very happy to sponsor someone fresh coming in. Or if their arm gets twisted a little bit more, maybe they will choose to run themselves. The nomination forms are available in the resident business office nomination station. We will have nomination forms available at the door as you depart. And, step up and pick one up and think about it, if not making a decision on the spot. Now, here's for the abbreviated slides, or the slides did not get included, and that's my fault. But so what I want to do is talk to the issue of running for council and what the council is. Many of you already know that. We've put it up repeatedly, but I'm going to paraphrase, do some paraphrase on that. And when a lot of those who are soliciting for and asking you to run for council, constantly receive the question or the comment, the resident council doesn't do a thing around here. Why should I run for council? Well, a couple of reasons for that. And I'll talk to those in a little bit more. But how many of you have gone through or at least leafed through the resident council notebook that's in the library? This is this contains the notes for and the minutes for 2019 through 2021, up to the present date. It also contains a copy of last year's resident survey. Okay. Two questions. I just mentioned them. What does resident council do, and why should it be important to me? And why should I want to serve on the council? The council is your eyes and ears and voice for what takes place at Goodwin House Bailey's Crossroads. We are really a community, a small village of about 500 members, plus the staff of almost another 500. And we govern ourselves within that village. The resident council is the means by which we govern what goes on among the residents of Goodwin House. Do we have complete say in that? No, but no village in a county or a state has a complete say of what they're going to be, of what they're going to do and how they're going to be supported by the county or the state. So it's not any different than you're going to see outside Goodwin House in Arlington. Well, Arlington's a county of its own, but it still has to deal with the state of Virginia. Alexandria City, self-governing city, but still has to do with the state of Virginia. Falls Church, well, to a certain extent, self-governing, but still has to follow what Fairfax County does and dictates. So the council is our eyes and ears and voice. It represents our interest, your interest, to Goodwin House Bailey's Crossroad Management and to the Goodwin House Board of Trustees. It maintains open communications channels between residents and management. It receives and acts upon your suggestions, questions, and observations. The annual survey that is done by each council as it comes in over the last several years has had 68 recommendations, 100 recommendations, and this year, 300 separate recommendations from the residents of the county, the residents of Goodwin House. And all of those are under review and and Justin's going to report on that to a great extent at the town hall next week. The council, and these are all drawn from the bylaws, promotes health, comfort, and security and social well-being of all residents. It encourages our participation in GHBC activities, governance, and cultural interests. Some resident council activities that many of us don't see, but are out there anyway. This one that we do see, hosting the monthly community meetings and other community meetings as necessary, hosting the semi-annual community meetings with the Goodwin House Chief Executive Officer, the Chair of the Board of Trustees, and the Goodwin House Executive Director. Establishing resident committees and approved committee chairs. The resident committees don't just spring out of someone's mind and says, I'm going to form a committee and go do it with it. You've got to go to council to be able to form a committee because the committee charters you and, the council charters that committee and also appoints the committee chair. Council also appoints liaisons from the council to the committees. and coordinates the mutual concerns of resident committees. I remember several years ago, one of the issues was the book committee versus the music committee and who was going to meet on a certain date. Well, they both came to council, and that was worked out with an amicable and acceptable solution. Receives reports and recommendations from the resident committees. Some of these are mandatory. If a committee has an idea that will have significant budget impact or changes in precedent or policy, that comes from the committee, or could even come from an individual, but would come from the committee to the council for vetting. Recommendations that would have significant impact on us as residents, that require communications with the Board of Trustees, or that the committee chair or the council chair feels should be brought to the attention of the council. The council, through the vehicle of the council chair, reports quarterly to the Board of Trustees on what's going on within Goodwin House, Bailey's Crossroads, and how the residents feel about that, and maintains a continuing dialogue with GHBC management. Some recent activities, I already mentioned the annual survey. They really got efficient this year. 300 separate submissions. SurveyMonkey was used to conduct that survey, and it resulted in a better and quicker compilation, tracking, and development of the response to the recommendations. How many know that the technology committee was formed by the council? Okay, better? All right, thank you. Shall I go back and begin at the beginning? No. All right, fine. Sorry for that. I wasn't getting the reverb back, and I should have been sensitive to that. No, the technology committee, it was a good idea that Wayne Kelly and a few others said, we ought to be doing this. And they brought it to the council when I encouraged Wayne to run for council last year. And they said, Wayne, form the committee. You're going to be the first chair. And so now we have that technology committee that serves to identify resident issues and responds through group training and one-on-one assistance. The council has inaugurated a buddy program to assist the administration with improving the onboarding process for new residents. And then monthly community meetings have been revitalized by featuring various GHBC committees, activities, or initiatives each month. Yes. Now,
Repeat the
there's
question.
mic. That's where the mic is. The mic's right in front of me.
Hang on, we got a solution.
All right.
Wait. Try this.
No, we're fine.
You're fine?
Yep.
Okay, all right.
Now, well, there we go. Why should I want to serve on the resident council? You represent your fellow residents, your committee, and yourself. You have an opportunity to really make a difference in Goodwin House, Bailey's Crossroads, for all of us. So for election 2021, I encourage you to get involved, to make a difference, and run for council. We've got a few chips that we want to call in on several people. But there probably are not enough chips to flesh out the entire slate. So I want to really encourage you, whether you've been here for 6 years, 7 years, and I know there are some of you out there that have been, that say, oh, no, I don't want to serve on council, but they benefit from the council. There are others of you who are sort of middlers that just have gotten your feet wet in Goodwin House, Bailey's Crossroads, and already serving on a committee perhaps. And then there are some of you who are brand new. I came on and ran in Lucy Lee in my second year here in Goodman House, Bailey's Crossroads. Frank Hart, who was in the chair, leaned on me and said, "Gene, you ought to run for council." Well, I said, "Okay, I will." The following year, I had one of the members of the council lean on me and said, "You really need to be the next chair of the council." And I said, "Oh, no, not me, not me. It's really a woman's turn," because we were kind of alternating woman, male, female in successive years. And it was Rita Siebenhaler said, "No, we need you." "Well, why not the women?" And she said, "They won't run." So I said, "Oh, I will not volunteer. You know, I do not choose to run, but I will accept if elected." And I didn't make that comment, but I just kind of let that lie there. At any rate, we really need you. It's we have a responsibility as citizens of the community to really take charge and say where we're going to be in the future. And that's what the council serves to do. So between now and the 15th of November, last call for nominations, and we'll close the nominations at noon next Monday. I'm not planning that we're going to extend the period. We just can't do that. So take charge and run, and we'll have several individuals at the door, two, particularly three, to give you a copy of the nomination form should you so be moved. Thanks very much.
Jean just did the technical difficulties, so I wouldn't feel bad about flipping over the slides. So thank you, Jean. I want to add that I was here for 14 months when I ran for council. And so for those of you who think you might not know enough, I learned a lot. Maybe I didn't know everything about how the administration works, how GHI management works. I wouldn't have known the inner operations of a lot of committees. But one of the things that I think was wonderful for me in my 2 years on the council was learning so much and meeting so many of you. I met a lot of you by the, "Hey, you got a minute? I have a problem." So I didn't get as many "what does the council do" questions as I think others may have. I got a lot of, "Here's a problem, how are you going to go about fixing it?" A lot of them were incorporated in the suggestions. But one thing that many of you may not know is that Don Gurney as vice chair and I as chair meet on a very regular basis with Justin. And we pass along to Justin what we have heard from you all in terms of issues, suggestions, and complaints. We've received long emails of what can be done to fix a certain problem from some of you, and I appreciated that very much. And our meetings with Justin oftentimes generated into one of two things: a report from him at the next town hall meeting on what some of the issues were that you all raised, or him going to upper management to convey what some of the issues are, problems, and whatever from us. So there's a lot of underpinnings here that you don't see. I hope what you do see, if you think about the last 2 years of this particular council, is some improvements have been made. The most obvious was the technology committee. And that just, as you could see, led from one thing to another to another. I know there were several people who were involved in handling technology issues on an ad hoc basis before a committee was formed. But since the committee has been formed, we have a direct ear and eye and mind to the management through Justin, and we very much appreciate that. So that's my little spiel of me and my experiences. So I would like to encourage those of you who haven't been here that long to think about joining. You'll learn a lot, but there's also probably one or two issues that you have in mind. I know for me, it was also technology. The day I came here, I thought something's not right here. And so fortunately, there was a group of us who got together at exactly the right time to take that forward to not only the council, but also to the administration. So enough of a commercial. I'd like to move on to, Claudia.
I could just dovetail on that. Through VACRA, I hear from a lot of communities. The big issue for them is that they have little or no access to management. They feel they have no voice. The nth degree of that is one community that actually has the executive director post a sign on his door that says staff only.
Whoa.
When I told Linda that, she said, oh my God, the residents here would never stand for that. And that's true, but that's because we have residents who get involved and maintain their civic responsibility to run and to vote.
Thank you, Claudia. Any other comments, questions? All right, we'll move on to the Bazaar, which is coming in December. And we have both Lucy Lee Reed and Joni, I see in the back, to give you the scoop on what's been going on in that area. Thank you. Where? Usually I just hit escape. Do you want this off? No.
I belong to her.
And I, for one, know how to use a mic. This has been a lot of serious talk, and I agree with all of it. But those of you who know me know that I'm in it for the fun. And I want to tell you, in my publicity that you read in our newsletter, I get down to some of the serious things like that the reason for this bazaar is to raise funds for our foundation. And we all know that that's a serious subject. But what I remember the most about the several years that I've put in with the bazaar is how much fun it was. We just laughed and had a great time, and we're so excited to have so many residents and so many staff come in and be so excited and happy to be able to purchase these lovely things at such a bargain price. And one of the things I remind you that I think I've mentioned in my publicity is we've been saving up for 2 years all this stuff because, as you know, we didn't have a bazaar last year because of the COVID. So let me tell you, we are in for some treats in the good stuff. Now, I'm going to let Joni tell you about, yes, the more serious part. It takes a lot of work to get this done. I think you've seen my motto. It takes a Christmas village to run this bazaar. And I'm just going to stand up here with my handmade sign. I'm a low-tech kind of person. Okay, Joni.
Is it okay? Okay,
Put your mouth right up against it.
I will. Can you hear me
You got to really put your mouth up against it.
in it? Can you hear me now? Okay, I feel like that commercial for the IT. It's serious, but it's really fun. And everybody who has ever been here and worked on the bazaar know that it takes a lot of volunteers. And so the ones that are still here that have done it before, I've got your number and I've got sign-up sheets from before. And for everybody who is new, the fun of getting into this thing is the volunteering. We have sign-up sheets. I've got a big poster that's coming out. We'll set it all up for next weekend probably, or Monday or Tuesday following, so that we get about 3 weeks for all of you to have a good chance to look at your calendars, look at the sign-up sheets, see what area you're interested in. We have, it seems like a million things that come out of hundreds of boxes that we collect all year. And we have a lot of comic relief. That hat's part of it. And Lucy Lee is a great sport. And so she's got her little thing that's going to all of a sudden give us the amount of days and such. But next week, get your pencil ready, look around. We'll have a big poster. We'll have sign-up sheets. We'll have information. You'll have my phone number so that if you have any questions, I'll tell you what's involved. You'll have a blast. We have a full auditorium that is going to be exchanged into a big marketplace. Tables filled with Christmas things, with everything that your fellow community residents couldn't live without, and that it'll be on the table so that you can buy them. And we don't know yet, depending on how everything is going outside, what the health department will let us do with having outside visitors come in. We don't normally have big visitors from other places, but in the past, we've been allowed to bring in some of our immediate family. They like to look at the Christmas presents, lots of things available. We're going to have, all this side is always filled with Christmas. We have gift tables filled with, you have it or you don't have it, you will have it. We've got jewelry, we've got crystal. We have a high value table that's really got some good things this year. We don't put it on a usual place. We put it back there in the corner. We have security cameras to make sure that nobody misunderstands what it's for. But we can't sell anything at its full value. We can't sell anything at its half value. It's always really good. We have some things that we get that we go on eBay and the internet to see what it's made from or how it's cost. And $700, $1,000, some things. Crystal is always there. We get silver because hardly anybody uses their silver anymore, and they don't take it in to have it melted down. But interestingly enough, people buy it, and I hope so because we spend a lot of time polishing it, right? Because some of it doesn't come in real polished. But I could go down a whole list of things. We get china sets. Our staff loves to come in and be able to see some of it. Oftentimes, they would not be able to afford it or have time to go out and find it elsewhere, but they can come in here. We're having a kind of a, what do I want this year? We always start in the past at 10 o'clock, residents pour in. We go till 2, and we have morning and afternoon shifts for people like you who are going to volunteer. And what we're doing this year is we're starting at 9, going to 10, just for the staff. And we had started suggesting that we give the staff a special discount. And so they get 20%. It makes a big difference because they do come in as long as they can get some time off to allow them to do that. But at any rate, the information's out there. It will be out there more often. This is our publicity guru. We have 8 people who are really in the core of our cohorts in crime. And most of you who bring things down to the donations, you see it. But I'm responsible for going out and begging all of you to come in and help put it on. We've got Barbara Molino, who's out of town right now. and probably because she doesn't want to stand up here, but mostly because her husband had something fun to do. So she's our leader. She stood up because the rest of us didn't want to take over all the little responsibilities. The one who's over all of us is Jamie Blake. Everybody knows Jamie's the linchpin for just about everything we need to go to the foundation and vice versa. And then we've got Lucy Lee, who's our publicist. We have Elsa Edwards. We have Betty Reinecke. We have Roberta Fox. We have our newest nugget of gold is Carol Laird. I'm not sure if I've left anybody out. Oh, I'm not really sure. So if anybody is standing in here that I don't see, I'm sorry. And then you can come hit me on Thursday. Oh, Betsy, that's the biggest thing. Betsy has been, not that she's the biggest, but she has been, everybody knows Betsy. And I met her just several months after I moved in here. And the first thing she said to me was, Joni, I don't see your name on my sign-up sheet. And my bruise is just going away now. And that was 8 years ago. And she was in charge of it for a long time. She's been on it probably gazillions of years, she's too young for that. But she is the mainstay. She comes back every single week, every single year. She never says no. And I don't know whether she's going in for a mental breakdown soon, but that's what she does. And so we all have a really good time. We get great things from all of you. I won't bore you with everything because it takes a long time to say it, but just look for the sign-up sheets. There will be pencils. There will be there will be little cards that you can write on what you've signed up for. And I check that all the time. And the week or so before the bazaar, I'll send out reminder notes. And so if anything happens, anything changes, you can call me, let me know. But that's what my big job is in this whole place. But we pack up stuff all through the year. And I think you'll be having a good time looking through it. And I guess that's it. Any questions? Don't make it hard.
Will hats like Lucy Lee's be available?
Well, she got that from Peggy Jones, who was our leader for 3 years, and she wore it, and that was the only way we could see her because she's so tiny. But everybody loves that, so she was the one to take. But anyway, most of it it really is fun because you get to meet people that you don't know, and it's just fun to watch people go about buying your stuff.
I have a question. I am part of an outside group of craft people. We make rugs, and we have our December luncheon here that day from 10 to 2. Can outside people come to the bazaar or not?
We don't normally have outside people as such, but if you are allowed to come in here, what we'll do is we'll pass it by our leadership. I don't know if Justin has scooted, but we'll check to make sure because that's what we're all waiting for is there's always the chance the shoe will, we were preparing for last year and we couldn't have it. And that who can come in. So we'll make sure that information gets out. And so if that is a convenient time and we get a waiver on that, then we'll certainly let you know. Okay?
Are you still taking contributions?
Next week or this Thursday is our last for the Christmas Bazaar. Because we still have quite a bit that we have to pack up and make lists of what we have because we label everything. And so that would be the preference because we will close down our part of it.
So I should get in touch with you?
You should get in touch with us. Just bring it down. Or if you have anything that's really heavy, you can check with Jamie And she can arrange for Tina to have one of our floor techs bring the things down. Anything else? Well, all right then. I'll see all of your names because we have approximately 130, 150 volunteer spaces. See ya.
Thank you. That promises to be fun for all. Any other comments? You have an announcement? Okay. I have one also before I forget because it's not on a slide. The last council community meeting of this year is a week earlier than usual. It's on Monday, December 6th. Jean?
Just a very quick reminder, you saw in West Winds the announcement of the, come on, Reed, Veterans Day program on the 11th. And I commend that to you. It'll be on Channel 2 for the most part, but also on Channel 43. Oh, and I'm sorry, related to that, there will be a national broadcast of the parade to Arlington Cemetery, commemorating the 100th anniversary of the burial of the first unknown at the cemetery. And I think that will be on public television and probably C-SPAN and CNN.
Thank you, Jean. Yes.
Just to add to that, there's a flyover at 11 o'clock on Veterans Day over Arlington Cemetery. Some of us might be able to see it. For a different thing, I'm Otto Reinbacher. I've always said that the resident council really has not accomplished anything because it's a volunteer council and everybody else who you suggest things to are paid and therefore they discount volunteer suggestions. But today I got a new revelation when I was reminded that the tech committee came out of the resident council by our people. And not only has it become a committee, but we now have people in the bistro who are helping with computers a couple days a week. We have a special person who's been hired by Goodwin House to work as a specialist in those of us who can't get our stuff down to the bistro. And so I commend them and commend the council for doing that.
Thank you, Otto. Was there another hand? Okay. Well, I'll see you on December 6th, and thank you.